This is the theme song for the live stream of consciousness. You've got to ask yourself whether reality is a dream or if you are dreaming reality. We are all a part of the answer to the meaning of it all. Come in and join us for the moment we call now. Rise up, join in, raise the whole vibration. You are the master of reality's creation.
Yes, you are the master of reality's creation. Have you asked yourself, is this real or is it a dream or is the dream reality? Have you asked yourself that? I ask myself that every day. And welcome to my happy place, the live stream of consciousness. That means it's Thursday. It is May 28th. That's what we're calling it collectively. So we knew when and where to be here. I appreciate everybody who's already shown up and filled that front row. I see Arnie in the front row. I see Ninja Kitty. I see Jennifer Rose actually in the front row and backstage, interestingly enough. Me and my shadow. What's up? What's up? Welcome. Thank you for being here. Scott Pace. Aho, Scott. Good to see you too. And who else we got there? Oh my goodness. We got a lot of people filling up the front row today. Bernadette is here. Awesome. Good to see you. Arnie Layton, hashtag live, reminding me to tell you to tickle the algorithm. The algorithm, for some reason, laughs, and it's ticklish. When you type in hashtag live, you can almost hear it like giggle, and it helps me grow the show. So thank you guys for showing up. It's amazing to me that this is even a thing, and this is a part of my reality, and that's kind of what we're going to be talking about tonight, about creating reality and manifestation and all of that stuff. I watch a great podcast called The Paradigm Experience. I don't know if you guys have heard of that one. This guy named Segi, who he started showing up in my algorithm last year, talking to ChatGPT about very philosophical things and life and consciousness, and he's just grown into this amazing interviewer. And I actually just got his information, and I wrote him an email, and I said, I want to invite you onto my show because that's where I'm at. I'm creating my reality. This place right here that you're at, it's been probably since COVID that I was here, and Ninja Kitty has been here since day one, and she knows that I've always called it my happy place. I haven't said that in a while, but I was thinking about it today, and it really is my happy place. And this is such a amazing opportunity for me to just be myself for an hour each week. And now I do 2 shows, so I have 2 opportunities to do that. It's amazing. I was going through some of my old shows, specifically a conversation that I had with a guy named Flat Earth Dave. And I really, it was such an intentional episode and an intentional conversation. And I just watched it back, and it was a while ago, and I've grown and changed since then, but I was really proud of the job that I did. I also got to say, there's times that I'm thinking like, what am I doing? This is such a commitment every week. I got to book guests and this and that. And maybe I should stop. And then I'll do a show like the last one I did with Sylvester holding space, Sylvester Allen, an amazing psychic medium. And then the show I did last week here on the live stream of consciousness with Sabine, the fertility coach, right? I had no idea what a fertility coach even was, not really part of my world. And I go back and I watch the conversation, and I'm like, how did I come up with that question? And I realized that it was just showing up in the moment and just being with that woman and listening to what she was saying and responding to what she was saying. So I'm going to commit to trying to make my shows a little bit better when I have a guest on that I don't know, maybe preparing myself a little bit more. But I always know in my heart that just showing up is really the most important thing. And I am so grateful that you guys show up. That's amazing to me, right? Like, that's a part of this whole creating reality thing, manifesting, right? I never ever thought that I would be hosting a show. And once I did, I was kind of like, oh, this is an interesting opportunity to reach people, to transmit my essence and see who receives it. And amazingly so, you guys showed up and you receive it. And I thank you so much. Anyway, babbling, it's something I've been doing a lot lately. So let's get into starting the show and clearing the space, setting the intention for the next hour. It's going to be an amazing conversation with one of my favorite people to have a conversation with. Medium Jennifer Rose is going to be on the show. So let's clear the space with 3 breaths, 60 seconds. Who's in? Anybody? You guys ready for this? Sage is here with me. I'm going to ring her out and I'm going to do the breaths, and you guys can follow along or do them on your own time. Again, there's no right or wrong way to breathe, I don't think. Well, there probably is, but this is not a medical show. That's not medical advice. But really, it's more about paying attention to the breath, feeling it fill you up, fill up your nose, fill up your lungs, feeling it come into you, and then releasing it. I think that's the bigger part for me, like feeling it release and feeling myself settle into my chair. And it's just 3 of them. If we're intentionally paying attention to 3, I think that sets the stage and that gets us going. So let's all do it together. Here we go. Breathing in through the nose, all the way up to the top. Hold it for a second and then let it go. I can feel it in my shoulders as they go down. Take another breath in through the nose. Hold it up at the top. Just hold it for a second. And then just let it out. Feel it leave. Chance for a new one to come in, and let's do the last one together. Fill up your lungs. And then just release from your lungs. Feels so good. Breathing is fundamental. Please tell me you guys remember that from like Channel 9 or something. Reading is fundamental, but breathing is fundamental. Alrighty, guys. I don't know what's going on with my comment section here because it just keeps saying new comments and then, oh, there it is. Okay, I've caught up with my comments, and now that I see Lynn Junot has stepped into the audience. Thank you for being here. Divine Singing, welcome. Perfect time for presence. Yes, good to see you here. Awesome. Jennifer McCormick is here also. Hello, beautiful. I know she's referring to Sage. Sage is beautiful. That's awesome. And Jennifer Rose and beautiful Jennifer Rose and MZ from Evelyn. Welcome. Debbie O, I see you. Oh, I'm trying to click on this. Yes, Erin. I know it's Erin. Divine Singing is Erin Suniva, who's been on the show before. Amazing singer and bringer of frequency. Awesome to see you here. Thank you for showing up. It's time to let it start. We're going to get into this conversation. I'm super excited to bring together good frequency, good minds, good thinking. Welcome to the live stream returning champion, Medium Jennifer Rose. How you doing?
Hey, Michael, how you doing? Thanks for having me on. Hi, everyone.
Good to see your face, and
I'm back.
Thank you for being here. Yes, I love seeing you. I love having conversations with you. I love the Sacred Spiral Network, where we met. It's the Sacred Spiral Network is actually part of the story that I want to talk about tonight, right? In just being here on the live stream of consciousness season, whatever it is. Now my seasons have names. Creating Reality is the name of this season. And it's all, from last year in Costa Rica, when I realized that I was the master of my destiny, which is super cool. Kind of realization to come through, and even though I know that I'm the master of my destiny, I also know that there are moments that are kind of like not in my control, and those moments are put in my path for me to be the master of my destiny, and make the choices that will get me through that, either having learned my lesson or resetting back a step to have to face that challenge again somehow, some way. Amazing. What's up? Good to see everybody out there.
Thanks for all the hellos.
Yes,
Thanks for
yes,
the
yes.
love. I know.
Everybody saying hello. Debbie O is saying
Yeah, I'm
hello,
getting all
hello.
gushy
I
inside.
love it. I love it. You know, and that's something I was talking about with Paranormal Pete when I was on his show, just about the amazing community that this show brings. Like this is true manifestation, I believe. Like, you know, what Kelly has created with the network, what you've created with, what is it, 12 shows now that you have? You know, just an amazing community of people, who all show up for each other, and all, I think, what I love is everybody is able to step aside and let somebody else, you know, take the stage, and when they do, we're all just as engaged, right? We're all just like, ooh, Jennifer's up, ooh, Lynn's up, you know, like, you know, we're all excited for it. It's
Yeah.
just such an amazing reality that we have all created together. So let me start the conversation with just about this moment. I think I kind of, when I was writing the description and thinking about it, you know, I always, not always, but often I start my thoughts with the idea of this moment that we're in, right? Because there's so much to this moment, right? The whole spectrum of this moment. And so I love watching, oh my goodness, I'm forgetting the name of his show now. Just Tap In is the name of his show. And he always asks this question is, what are you most excited about in this moment? I know I've asked it to you before, but here we are in a new moment. What are you most excited about in this moment, for you or for the collective?
Oh gosh, evolution. Thank God. So
Right? Interesting. That's an interesting answer. I love it.
yeah.
Hanging with our tribe. Amelia
We're
Ortez.
seeing a lot of evidence. Yeah, we're seeing a lot of evidence that, you know, that there's this, you know, mass awakening, and we're evolving, we're ascending, whatever word you want to use. The frequency is starting, you know, we're all mobilizing and getting there. So it's everything is put kind of in high gear right now. So that's pretty exciting. So I'm just like,
Yeah, it is,
let's
and
do this.
interesting.
Let's do
It's,
this.
yeah, I love the word you chose, and also because evolution, I think, is something that normally we think of as taking a long time, right? Like the
Biological,
evolution
yeah.
of a species, but it's,
Yes.
everything is happening so fast that I can almost see, like, I can see an evolution of society, of the paradigm. Interestingly enough, I'm talking about the paradigm experience. The paradigm that
Yeah.
we're living in is changing so fast, and almost even, and I'm just, this is what I love about these shows and these conversations. Like, I'm just thinking, right? And also trying to think about my words, right? Because of the way that I like to speak. But I do feel like the paradigm that we're in, this moment that we're in, is fragmenting a little bit, right? It's kind of splitting into different timelines, different possibilities, which I think is a part of what's so exciting, is that we're being given a moment to choose. And I don't think everyone's choosing correctly. Well, actually, I'm going to take that back. I think everyone's choosing correctly for themselves, right? Because I don't think that, I think everything happens for a reason. So I think if somebody's choosing a timeline that I may be like, ooh, why are you doing that? That's their path,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
where they need to go, right? Jennifer saying the split is more visible now. I think that that's exactly what's happening, right? And Evelyn is saying fractals. I love this. See, this is an amazing receptive audience to this idea. Yeah, the split is more visible now. So Jennifer, when you say that, I think what I've been saying for the last couple of years, when everybody, I mean, the spiritual community has been talking about the shift for many years, I think, right? But I started kind of thinking that the shift, I was like, what is it going to be, right? Everybody, like at the beginning or early on, people would say it's a shift from 3D to 5D, which I understood what the description was, but it didn't make 100% sense to me because the 3D is physical to me and the 5D is not. But what I started to realize was the shift was going to be in perception, in being able to discern what the 3D is, but also perceive the 5D and know the difference, right? Have the awareness of what each thing is and what the purpose of it is, right? Because I think from the 5D, from what I hear, like near death experiences and out of body experiences, being in this place
Mm-hmm.
of, non-judgment and just unbelievable, unconditional love. I think
Yeah.
that's even with the ability to look at the 3D, right, with all of its flaws or challenges or whatever, and just look at it unconditionally. So it's like the 3D is
Yeah.
part of it, and Arnie's saying 4D first. He's always insistent
Yep.
on saying we got to get to the 4D, and I was actually just saying the 3D to the 5D was kind of the way it was being
That's been
framed,
the
and
lingo.
yeah,
Yeah,
it was just kind
that's
of the
yeah.
lingo, right? But again, for me,
Hmm.
Arnie, it wasn't even about dimensions, which I do think are involved and a part of the idea of what we're talking about, but it was more about humans and their ability to perceive, right? To perceive those different things. So perfect for me to be talking to an evidential medium, right? Who I love speaking to people like you who have kind of tuned into these perceptions, these extra perceptions, extra sensory perceptions, right? ESP, they used to call it,
Hmm.
right? And that was
Yeah.
also a part of the metaphysical. Um,
Yeah.
so what are your thoughts about all of this stuff that I'm talking about? Like, like, I mean, I was super excited to talk about it, and I want to talk about manifestation and all of that stuff. But
Yeah.
this moment, is more what I'm talking about in this shift. How do you describe the shift? How do you
Oh,
feel? What does it feel like
and
to you?
I might describe it different yesterday and different tomorrow than I am in this moment too, but that's okay. Well, I love talking about this stuff because it gets my mind all bendy, stretchy, and that's my fun place. So,
Yeah.
so oh gosh, so if I take this pen, I just can't prove that any of you see exactly what I see. Even if the manufacturers make millions of the same pen with the same design, I just can't prove it. I can't prove that this table's actually solid, right? And we know that we're mostly water, and we know that we only see certain things with our eyes, yet other animals and creatures see different colors than we do. So our perception is very limited based on what our brain and our body is even able to do, and what the neurons are firing. Now, think if we had more brain capacity, what that would do to our consciousness, what more we would be aware of.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
so
mhm,
now we can get more. The question is how much more. I'd really like to know too. But that would change things up. So having been a medium, having been through a lot of transformation, having gotten close to dying, having had a full blown like Kundalini awakening into like I have gone into like the quantum field, and I have been in other realms, light ones, dark ones, void ones, and they're all, but they are still like psychic dimensions happening in your psychic reality. And so we visit these, and who knows what that looks like for other people, because everybody's reality is going to be a little bit different.
mhm, mhm,
Now, the vastness that we are, like literally each one of us is the whole vastness of beyond the beyond the beyond. So it's like we are already multidimensional. It's just we funnel into these very limited perceptions, but it's not wrong, right?
mhm,
Too.
mhm,
So we're experiencing this big shift as humans right now, and as spiritual humans, and those of us, because we're spiritual and we're expanded, we're aware that there's way more happening than a lot of other people are aware of. They
mhm,
just
mhm,
see destruction, and they just, and that is right. We see destruction for sure. Like, and it hurts my heart. It hurts the human in me really bad too. It's really hard. And it's okay for me to say that's not okay. That could do better. We can do better. We
Mhm,
absolutely can
mhm,
do better because we
mhm,
are divine beings. So why can't we want to do better? Right.
mhm, mhm,
So really, really exciting time. But the planets, with like Uranus and Gemini and all of these things happening. Jennifer McCormick might want to chime in with everything that's going on with the planets. It's like, it's all painting this picture of this was all meant to happen.
mm,
So from a divine perspective, the source God is, master and is making all of this happen. And we're all just going, woo, look at that.
mhm, mhm, mhm,
Dude,
mhm,
right? So super, super exciting. All of it too. And there's a lot we just don't know. So now we're like being asked to kind of like embrace this unknown, embrace this. We don't quite know what this is going to look like. We don't quite
mhm,
know what this is
mhm,
going to feel like. We don't quite
mhm,
know what the heck we're doing.
mhm,
Except working through the energies like day by day by day. And there's some tricky energies. I feel a little bit called to speak about those of us who call ourselves empaths. We call ourselves light workers. We call ourselves consciously expanded. We're 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 processing a lot of energy right now, and
mhm,
that's
mhm,
challenging. So we're going to have some mood swings. We're going to have some tiredness and fatigue, and then we might actually have energy boosts too. So we're kind of like doing a lot to sort of transform and filter the energy,
mhm,
as it is to help things along. And so now comes some faith and some trust that it's going to work, that we're going to get there. But
mhm,
I think the most important thing, and this will tie into our talk about manifestation, is that the more we focus on um, integrating into our own wholeness and being consciously aware and consciously living, so being very mindful of our moments and our
mhm, mhm,
presence. It's
mhm,
not easy to do,
mhm,
but being very, very mindful, the more of an impact we have on the collective. So if we really want things to change, we have to be mindful of how much we're focusing on outside circumstances, which still is important. We need to name what we're seeing. It needs
mhm,
to be come out into the light so that it can be exposed and
mhm,
transformed, right?
mhm, mhm,
But we have to keep focusing on ourselves too, because the more we get in alignment with the soul or with the consciousness, higher consciousness of us, that's when we really have a lot more like power to work with, be the
mhm.
masters of our ship, to
Yeah, yeah,
like really see some cool stuff happen.
yeah, yeah.
But it is exciting. It's very exciting.
I
So I
agree. It is.
might
It
have
is.
went all over the place there.
No, no, and it's so funny because a lot of the I feel so many synchronicities, right? In a lot of the things that are coming out in conversation and just the I don't know, like words that I'll say, and then somebody else will say it in a different context, but it'll be kind of the same, and it's like these amazing synchronicities. First, I just want to also recognize happy birthday to Mr. Arnie Layton. His birthday is coming up. Big friend of everybody here.
Happy
And
birthday, Arnie. We love you.
and Kim Princess, what if I told you it was all meant to be? Exactly what I said earlier, right? Did I not say everything happens the way it's supposed to? I totally believe it is all meant to be. And I had so many different thoughts while you were talking, but Jennifer McCormick also is acknowledging the astrological aspect of craziness, Mars and Taurus,
Hmm.
square Pluto in Aquarius. July going to be big when the lunar nodes change. Yeah, the energy is just off the chart cosmically. I
It
definitely feel it,
it is.
and it
It's
has been
firepower. Hmm.
for years.
Yeah.
It's just been changing and
Yeah.
shifting and kind of hitting you with the left and hitting you with the right, and but
Yeah.
it feels good. I think it feels really
Yeah.
good. I think it's really refreshing. And
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, there were moments that it didn't feel so good, right? That it,
Oh yeah.
like around COVID, right? Like I remember COVID saying, wow, like life used to have this layer of certainty to it. And now there's this uncertainty, right? Like it was just different. There were just
Yeah.
different vibrations happening.
It's
Um,
very existentially
totally, totally.
invigorating.
It totally is. It totally is. And then there was another thing I was thinking, not to just go on any tangents, but you were talking about it, and I actually made a post today on Facebook. I think I said we're all just POVs, right? Because we're all a point of view. We're all a very individual point of view, right? Which is such a beautiful thing, and why I love doing these shows and these talks. But also when you were talking about that, I was just thinking about you and me and this physical existence, right? And how like it's a pinhead of our actual being, right?
Yes.
And I think a big thing about what we're talking about in this shift is going to be outside of what we have now as far as understanding goes, right? The way that we can understand the amount of information we can process as human beings, the language, right? Language is such a limitation, right? Which I think is why all of a sudden in the last couple of years you're seeing light language, right? And you're seeing light language
Mm,
in the form of spoken light language, sung light language, movement light language, visual light language
yeah.
like hieroglyphics, right? You're seeing all of these things that
Yeah.
are kind of outside what we know, and I think again that's part of this perception change that's going to happen. All of a sudden, again, I was listening to some experiences and near death experiences and stuff, and one of the things they talk about is as you're kind of going through this ascension of these different levels, the way that it was being described today was it was like all of a sudden there was a whole new layer of information that you knew, that you just understood
Yeah.
this whole new layer of information. And that's again akin to dimensions, right? As you're going through the dimensions, there's
Yeah.
this whole other perception. I think it's best illustrated in 3D with the shadows, right? Where they'll take a shadow of like a cube and they'll turn it and you'll see the shadow changing shape and doing all of these different things. And it's just, it gives you a good metaphor for
Yeah.
perception from one dimension
You
to the next.
You know what's funny, Michael, is I just posted a memory. It was 6 years ago, and it was this picture of this like little face with a gear, in the brain, and it was like a things to ponder. And it said there are 7.7 billion people on the planet. Now there's over 8, but
Mhm,
6 years ago there were 7.7, and I
mhm.
wrote that was 7.7 versions of the truth. Something
I
to think
saw
about. And
that
now we
post.
have over
Exactly.
8 billion versions of the
And
truth.
see, that's what I'm saying about synchronicities, right? Like you and I, we're
Same
thinking the
time, I
same
know.
thoughts. We're
So
thinking the
cool.
same thoughts, but just in our own perceptions from our own
Yeah.
points of views
Yeah.
and expressing them. And then I'm like, oh yeah, that's kind of what I was saying, but that's a nice way to look at it, right? That's a different way to look at it. And I think again, I've been talking about it so much, like that's what I love about this show and these shows and these conversations. It's like we get a chance to, hold up these ideas and, just share them. You know what I mean? And grow with each other. What's up, Kay
Mhm.
Weezy? Good to see you, Kay
Yeah.
Weezy.
Hey, everybody. Good to
So
see you.
so I want to talk about manifestation, and let me tell you the story and the reason I wanted to talk about that. Somebody, not somebody, but again, synchronistically, um, over the last couple of weeks, I've heard it said very specifically this way, by different people. Okay. And this is the idea of, and I think one or two of them spoke about it as in relationship to manifestation. And that is the idea of going to sleep. That is the idea of, well, let me back up. The idea of not wanting something, but existing as if it already is, right? Like, I don't want this to be this way, but I'm going to just act as if it already is that way, right? That's kind of a manifestation technique. And so I heard it in the context of going to sleep. When we go to bed, we lay down and then we have to kind of act as if we're sleeping until we fall asleep. We've got to pretend that we're
It's
sleeping, right?
true.
Like, and I was
That's
like,
true.
wait a second, I'm not pretending I'm sleeping, but then I'm like, well, what am I doing? I mean, I guess if I think about it, I'm like kind of shutting down my systems and kind of, starting to relax myself. But the idea, the way that it was presented, like we're pretending that we're asleep until we fall asleep, and that's manifestation. I was like, this is brilliant. What's up, Wizard? Good to see
That
you.
is brilliant. Hey, there's Brian. Hi, Brian.
So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about, like the idea of having something that I don't even want to see. I don't even like saying like it's a desire or you want this or whatever, but like, looking to say, this is what I want to be, or, what would be your perfect situation, and then trying to attain that, right? And then the normal, I think, method that we've been trained is, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to take these steps. But the truth is, you just have to imagine that it already is that way. And I believe that. Do you have any thoughts on that? Do you have any examples of that? Because I think that this
Yeah.
whole thing, you and me talking right here on this show, is a testament to that.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the examples is there's this amazing woman who's going to be joining me tomorrow on my show, and I'm not plugging my show, but I'm letting you know. But
Plug
she,
away.
it's at 2 p.m. instead of 12. By the way, everybody, 2 hours later, because she's from Australia, but she's an amazing woman. And if when you hear her story about everything she went through as an African woman, and I don't want to, spill her story, but she brought herself from basically nothing to extreme abundance and success and being a four-time TED talker
Oh,
and all
wow.
of this. So so she's had a lot of success. And we were just speaking together about this. And she's like, I just kept seeing the end. She was focused on the goal. She wasn't focused on how sad she was in the moment. And that doesn't mean disassociate from your feelings. I'm a person that says feel your feels, but do it consciously.
Sure.
But she stayed focused on us. She had her eye on the prize. She stayed focused on the future, and she made it happen. It reminds me of Wayne Dyer too.
Yeah.
Remember, he told the story. He was in children's home and all the kids were upset. Obviously I would have been too. And he's like, but look, there's no parents telling you what to do. And he was finding things that he could recycle and sell to make money. And he just kind of was this childish mindset to make stuff happen and live with intention. And so
Totally.
we can look at these people and go, wow, like they have something to show us. They have something to teach us too. And for me, I think I know where I'm going because I am intuitive, so that helps me too. So, and I'm still doing the steps and the work that I need to get there, but I kind of feel like it's co-creating, right? So I feel
Yeah,
like I'm
absolutely.
doing it in conjunction. So, what I do know is if there's something that is pre-planned for me that's written in my code or my story, there's nothing my personality is going to be able to do about it. And that's where things happen that aren't in our control. We all know that. And so that's where we can give ourselves some grace. And it's like, it's not your fault. You didn't do anything wrong or anything. Like some things are meant to happen for reasons that we may not understand. And we usually figure it out later. Right. But the rest, the more we are in alignment with our higher self, I think the quicker, the faster we can really start to make stuff happen to be in the frequency of the magic. Right. That's a very high frequency. It's like the fairy energy, that's why people like, right.
Yeah.
And that's when you're just like, wouldn't it be nice? Just, wouldn't it be nice? You're kind of in the dream space. You're in the imagination space. That's where a lot of magic happens too.
Yeah.
And speaking of sleep, our subconscious is much more susceptible right before we go to bed and right when we wake up. So I say study for your test, study for your exams right before you go to sleep, because it will get into your memory better too. So that's a good time to do your personal work, is before you go to bed. Have a little talk, a little powwow with your parts and think about what you're trying to create and put that in there and just see where it goes and poof, but I think collectively, so many people, we want peace, we want harmony, we want to still retain our identity, our individual uniqueness, but we want to be in a space that's much more harmonious together, much more in the cooperation versus the competition, right?
Yeah.
And enough of us want that. Enough of us do our part. Faster we're going to see it. More magic's going to happen.
Yeah. I definitely agree.
So I hope
agree.
that helps.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kim says, I really
Yeah.
like the woman from Australia and how she interviewed you. Great to
Yeah, I
hear.
was on her show, and then
Nice.
now she's coming on my show.
Awesome. I love that. I love that. And I do feel like even this, right? This whole process of us talking to each other and interviewing people, I feel like this is one of these kind of new skills, or maybe even like a forgotten art, of
Yeah,
being able to really engage with somebody and pay attention to what they're saying and give them the space and take up your
yeah,
space and like just have this energetic exchange. I think
yeah,
it's really important.
yeah,
And again, I'm
yeah,
so grateful to be a part of it, and having looked back on some of the conversations that I have, like, so grateful that there's an archive and I
yeah.
can go back and I can look at a video
Mhm.
of a conversation I had with Lori Ladd. I don't know if you know who she is, an incredible author who wrote this book. And when I started the live stream of consciousness, like that was my topic. Like, what is consciousness, right? Was the thing. And she wrote this great book. And in the interview with her, when I was reading her book, it's called The Divine Design. When I was reading her book, I'm not a big reader, but a friend of mine had recommended it and recommended I get her on my show, and she agreed to come on my show. So I was like, I gotta at least get her book and read it.
Yeah,
And I didn't feel like I was reading a book. I felt like I was connecting with something, like it was speaking to me, it was interacting with me energetically, and which I found really amazing. And then when I was interviewing her, part of the concepts that she's talking about in the book are the creation of the planet Earth, and she's talking about dimensions and 12 dimensions, and the energy that created the Earth
mhm,
was through intention and through energy. um,
mhm,
and I realized as I
mhm,
was talking to her that she had done that with the book. So if you think about it, right, this book, and I
mhm.
realized that because of the experience I had with the book and the way I interacted with it, I said, Lori, you created a consciousness, right? Out of, like, this book is a consciousness because
It
it's going to
is.
go travel around and interact with different people on in different ways. People are going to receive that energy in different ways. And she was like, oh wow, I never even thought of that. And I was like, yeah, me neither. I don't even know what the heck I'm saying. And it was just such an amazing moment to connect with that idea and the energy
Yeah,
of, like you said, like, we're all divine, right? We all have this energy, this power to connect with energy in ways we can't even explain. And I'm just so grateful to have flashes of it here and there in my life, right? And be able to tell these
yeah,
stories and be like, oh my God, here's one moment that I connected with that energy and that frequency. And that's how I know it's real. And
yeah.
I'm sure most of the audience here, like, has had these different experiences that they know it's real. And just
Mhm.
like you're talking about, it's unique to
I
them.
know.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, nobody is gonna understand that experience more than them.
Yeah.
So cool.
I was just when you were speaking about her, I was getting this beautiful visualization of the earth, and it was all like grid like but multi-dimensional, and I could just see it all. It was so cool.
Oh
I
my
was
god, you
like,
gotta read the book. That's
oh,
exactly what the book talks about.
it's like I could see it. Like when you were talking about it, I could see it, and I was like,
Yes.
wow, that's so cool.
Amazing, amazing. It's just a
Yeah,
great stuff to kind of
yeah,
like that's the thing too, I think I love about these conversations, right? Is a lot of times it doesn't feel like you're telling me something new. It feels like I'm remembering it, or it's like,
mhm,
I'm
yeah,
resonating with it because it feels right. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
and that's so good. And Evelyn says, beyond grateful, I can watch these on replay many times. I'm unable to make the lives.
Oh, we
Absolutely.
love you,
I have,
Evelyn.
again, Evelyn, we're so glad when you do show up, and I see her all the time. But yeah, there's Jennifer, myself, go back and look at some of these older shows. Like, I love looking at them and being like, because it's almost like a snapshot of who I was at that moment, right? And where I was at that time. And it's amazing. um so I was also talking about earlier, I may have already said it, so forgive me if I'm repeating myself, but I was talking about the paradigm experience and this guy Segi, and the fact that right before the show, like right before I clicked onto the browser, I sent him an email, just telling him how much his show meant to me and how I wanted to interview him, because I don't know if he does interviews, he's an interviewer, right? And I'm like, no, I want
Yeah.
you to be on my show, and I want to connect with him. So I'm excited about that.
I have my dream people too. I'm working on.
I love that.
Talk about manifestation.
It's amazing. Like even if I don't get a response, I feel like I'm in this position to do this, right? To reach out to somebody,
Yeah,
and
gotta try.
I've
Yeah.
had people respond, and I've had people on my show. Base Forge, oh my god, I forget his name. He's got a great channel about ancient knowledge and the pyramids and frequency, and
Oh,
I
cool.
was watching him for like a year and a half, and I'm like, let me reach out. Tyler is his name, Tyler
Mhm.
Engel, and
Yeah.
it was just, he's just like, yeah, cool, I'll come on the show. And it was just amazing. And it's like I remember sitting in that moment like, oh my god, like I created this moment just by reaching out and telling the guy I wanted to talk to him.
It's so cool. I know, isn't it great? The worst they could say is no, so you might as well just try, and at least you put the energy into the try, and that you
Exactly,
never know.
exactly.
I reached out to somebody on a business matter, and it turned out to be not the right thing, like, and I'm like,
Mhm,
well,
mhm.
at least we crossed paths for a brief moment, and the
Yeah,
person was like, yes.
absolutely.
And it's
No,
like, oh,
absolutely,
so
absolutely.
you just never know, like that little brief cross pathing could have something, and it's like a little exchange of energy, so we're all exchanging energy with each other, and we don't even realize it too. And it's
Totally.
so it is very fascinating. So it's nice that we're in this space, because hi Jeffrey, that's my good friend.
Oh,
And
hello, Jeffrey. Good to see you.
yeah,
53
he's near there,
Albani,
Southern California.
hashtag
Yeah,
live. Thank you. I
yeah,
appreciate it.
he's quite the philosopher, quite the literature
Awesome.
buff too. So we can have some fun philosophical discussions
Awesome.
together.
Send it
Yeah.
my way. Write me a note.
Okay.
Write me a note,
Okay.
53 Abani Jeff. Write me a note, and I'd love to have a conversation with you. I just love having these conversations.
Yeah.
Who are you watching these days? Do you watch anything? Do you watch any podcasts? Do you listen to anybody
I
or
I don't have a whole lot of time. I'm working
okay,
already like 7 days a week, but
okay. I usually do, honestly, I usually do it when I have an hour drive to Southampton, so I usually do it when
yeah,
I'm driving, so I have an hour every
yeah,
day, and I definitely, find the people that I resonate with and like watching them. The different interviews are just
yeah.
so amazing that
There's there's so much out there too. I support the network that Kelly shows a lot too. So it's like I always try to stop and at least say hello to all of them too, and
yeah,
listen for a few as best I can too. And then I've been a guest on some other podcasts recently, which has been really nice because I've been making more connections and meeting more people too. So
awesome,
I love being in the expansion. We are in an expansion time, so this is the time to really connect with other people. Embrace technology, stretch your limits with technology too. So there's like, oh, I've got to learn how to do that, sign up for that. That's time consuming, but that's where we're going. We have to like get into that because it's a
totally.
very electric, magnetic frequency that we're in. So we need to like really get into
Totally. No, totally. And another thing I wanna say too, and this
Mm,
is just the experience that I've been having, but I'm imagining you're also having this, right? Is doing these shows is a little bit of work, right? There's some, like, work and commitment that you have to have to it. But for me, I knew the most important thing was just show up, right? Like, that's such an important
yeah,
part of life is just show up, right? But you do have to do a little bit more than just show up. You have to be who you are, right? And that's, I guess, what just show up really means, to be who you are. But like I've been thinking lately, like I really want to put some more effort into booking my guests way ahead of time, doing a little research, writing down some questions, right? Because that's not the way I've been working. I mostly wing it, right? I just show up.
yeah,
But having said that, and kind of wanting to do that and going to do that. I mean, I'm already starting to do that. I also have been looking back on a lot of shows, and even in the last 2 weeks, yesterday I had not yesterday, Tuesday, I had Sylvester Allen on Holding Space,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
medium that I had never met before. And, yeah, I know some basic questions, right? About like, okay, tell me how you became a medium, right? Some of these things. But I felt like I had asked him some really good questions, but it was really based on what he was giving me, right? The story that he
Mhm.
was telling me. And his story is amazing, right? Having grown up in Adolf Hitler's headquarters, um, which is amazing. And that whole forgiving Hitler kind of concept came up, right?
Mhm.
Because he talked about, being 6 years old and hearing these soldiers, but really not having a context for what that was, right? Which is really, really a fascinating story. But anyway, the
Yeah.
point the
Yeah.
point that I'm talking about that is that I felt like, because I showed up and I was in my happy place, I was able to be in this flow and do justice to what it was supposed to be that I was there for.
Yeah.
And the same thing last week when I had the fertility specialist on. Like, I had no idea what to even talk about, but based on the conversation, she was such an amazing person, and based on my knowledge of being able to show up, right, in different ways. So what was fascinating about that moment was somebody comes to her who's trying to get pregnant and is having problems, and it can be a physiological reason, it can be an emotional reason, it can be an
Mhm.
energetic reason, a toxic
Yeah.
relationship, right? So many
Yeah.
things, and she's able to show up on all of those different levels. She can do the physiological tests and is
Oh, I
is
love
versed
that.
versed in that enough to know, okay, yeah, there is a physiological problem, or, no, there isn't. And then she invites the partner in to do sessions more like, not like, I don't want to say therapy, but more conversational, and to kind of explore the dynamic in the relationship and the energy there.
Yeah.
Um, so I was just amazed at who I was talking to, but also when I looked back, I was like, wow, I showed up. I like was
Yeah.
able to show up and work my way through that and get something out of it. And a lot of people were commenting. Nancy Muratalo was in the audience and totally relating to what was going on. Like, it was a
Yes.
subject that really touched a lot of people who were in the
Yeah.
audience. So again, I got off of that show like, oh my God, I'm just so grateful for that moment, right? I just had an amazing
Yeah.
hour. Yeah.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, Nancy's going to be on the Love Show on Monday with me,
Awesome.
and we're going to be talking about her fertility journey as well too. It's funny you mentioned that. So you must
Amazing.
be psychic. Yeah, you must be.
Amazing. Synchronicities, that's what I'm telling you. Like, I'm
Yeah.
saying, it's like, it's all happening for a reason. I think the universe is, and I've said this before, right?
Mm.
Like, there are moments where I just see my reflection in whoever it is I'm talking to, some
Yeah,
strangers out in public or something, and I'm like, "Oh my God," I have this
absolutely.
overwhelming feeling come over me, and I realize what it is, and it's just so amazing. It's like,
The recognition.
we're all
Yeah.
one, you know what I mean? It's like, it's amazing. Um,
It's so true. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that we put a lot of our energy, into the shows too. It's like all like I'll put all my heart and my soul, into the two, and I just keep trying to like make them better and better and better.
Mhm.
Sometimes I'll meet with my guests beforehand too, just so we can kind of get a feel for like what we're going to talk about too. So that's a little bit newer for me too, and but that's been working out too. So
Right.
and so there's all different ways to do it. So it depends on kind of like how you're doing it. But
Yeah,
yeah, so
I
it's
think that
yeah,
part of the thrill for me, right, is the
yeah,
organic element, right?
hmm
Of like, I don't wanna
yeah,
talk to them beforehand because I want the reaction
yeah.
to be
And have like a
natural.
free flow conversation and
Yeah,
like we're just getting to know each other over coffee too. So it's kind of trying
exactly.
to keep that element in there too. And so,
I think that's
but yeah,
magic. I
there's
love
fun.
that.
I love having I love having these just like kind of like really nice high level like conversations where really mind stretching and then coming together into love too, because I think it just puts us in that space of possibilities. So cool.
Totally, totally. And Kim said,
Yeah,
"You put your heart and
yeah.
soul into
Oh,
everything. That's why you're so loved." Yeah,
thank you.
and again, that's, one of the things I talk about. Authenticity is such an important trait to me. It's such an important energy to be around. Ooh, I like that. I never even thought of that. But the energy of authenticity
Yeah.
is something that I love being around. You know, I have talked about being having a psychic fetish, right? But it's the energy. It's that energy. It's almost like that empath you were
It's
talking about.
magnetic. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's very magnetic, and it doesn't come, free for most people. Like, you have to work to get that, but it is worth the work, because it's like, the more authentic you become, which is really just being, integrated in alignment with the higher self of you, right? It's a feeling that's more embodied and more confident, and there's less mind chatter, less, you know, um, parts going rogue on you, making you wish you had done something different. Those kinds of things, right? And that's when I really think more manifestation ability starts to be possible. That's where I really think the magic. So it's like, if you're willing to do your part, do your work in that too. And it's all rewards for yourself and for the people around you and for the world itself too. And I think we become more and more and more authentic every single day that we keep trying, that we keep showing up, just keep showing up. And it's okay if you have a day where you feel like you've fallen down into the psychic abyss, as Colin Walker would say, and you're like, I'm so human today. Ew. Like, that's okay. That's
Totally.
okay. You get back up there again. It's okay.
Totally. And interesting too that you're saying that, because here's what I'm responding to that is, earlier we were talking about something about like just being really aware and behaving a certain way, and you said it's not so easy, right? And I was
Yeah.
thinking, yes, there are times where it's not so easy, but there's also times where it's like super easy, right? It's like you've made this realization that you
Yeah.
can be accountable for your energy, so it's easier to be accountable for it. But then there's
Yes.
moments that it
Yes.
slips. There's moments that it slips, right? I think one of the biggest things for me is judgment. Um, because I really try to pride myself on being non-judgmental, but I'm human, and
Yeah.
I'll see things that will make me feel a certain way, that'll trigger me, and I'll realize it very quickly. I'll be like, "Ooh, I'm being judgmental. Why am I being judgmental?" Right? Um, and I don't know. I feel like we've talked. I'm having some deja vu right now.
We have had conversation about this before, yeah. And the
Well,
one where we talked about forgiving Hitler, we
right,
had that
right. No,
same
but
conversation. It's
I'm having
deja vu.
deja vu about this specific thing
Yeah.
I want to bring up right now. So
Yeah.
Angelo,
Hmm.
audience from the show, Angelo
Yeah.
has been sending me videos from this woman, Christina Bruno is her name. Um, and Christina Bruno is she's into Anunnaki lore
Hmm.
and like ancient history, like that kind of energy. And there's Angelo right there. Um,
Hey, Angela.
and and she is specifically to
Hmm.
me she's like blasting other folks like
Hmm.
Bashar and Elizabeth April, and like, oh, these people are self-proclaimed, star seeds, and she's like kind of making fun of them, but then she's standing on the Anunnaki platform, right? And it's like, wait a second, you're challenging other people's belief. And I was getting triggered by it. I was like, this woman, I don't like this woman. But then I realized, like, that's her path. That's what she's
Yeah.
supposed to be doing, right? And I was able to forgive, right? And be like, why am I going to get triggered by her? Because she's getting triggered by these other people and trying to call them out. It was just like, again, it was an opportunity to reflect on, why am I
Hmm.
feeling this way? Why am I being triggered, by this person? And do I
Yeah.
need to be? You know what I mean?
It's okay to make observations about things, right? And so you can observe that there is maybe a level of hypocrisy in the way somebody's speaking, or they're presenting themselves in a spiritual context, yet appear to be saying things out of what we would call ego, right? So you can observe that
Mhm.
without thinking this person's a bad person or whatever like that too. But it's hard now. Look at some of the horrific acts happening in the world, it's hard not to say there are monsters out there, right?
Yeah.
And so I just remind myself, because it really effing hurts, and like the whole beagle thing has been on my radar with the animal testing and stuff like that. It just and so I don't. So here's the thing: is we can judge ourselves for judging, and we can go into shame for judging, and that doesn't help either. So it's like
Right.
holding it all in a sacred container of grace there,
Forgive yourself for judging.
and it's like that. Like that's not helping either, because then one part of us is shaming the other part of us
Yeah,
too, and that's not helping either. So it gets to be this sort of paradoxical
yes.
dynamic that we're in. But I try to remember that it's the soul of everything is pure, is light, right? It's the personality, right? It's the personality and the unintegrated aspects, and maybe even what we might call the system, if we have to put something that we can say needs to change, right? Because if we go into total passivity, do we facilitate change, right? So can we observe that something isn't quite making sense, or could be better, or could be of higher frequency, and then call it out and name it in a way that's constructive? Then maybe we can facilitate better change. So it's okay for me to say that abuse that I'm seeing over there is not okay, and we can do better. Like we absolutely can do better. That said, as the higher spiritual aspect of me understands that we are all of the source, we are all of the divine, we are all of the vastness too, and we're not separate. So that's the key thing, we're not separate. We're always connected to everything. So therefore, the monster out there is connected to us too, right? And so what can we do? Find some love somewhere. Find a way to put some love and some light in it. That's not easy work, It isn't too. So it's holding this balance of our humanness and
I was going to say it's contradictory
our
to some humanness, right? It's contradictory,
right?
To not be like, well, that's evil, and really want to like.
It sure looks evil, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
it certainly does. Yeah,
But holding, if we hold the sacred, if we put a sacred hand under this and find a way
beautiful
to observe it as a whole, and honor all of these parts that are playing out, to facilitate getting higher, into a higher space.
You could say
It's not
embrace.
easy
Are
work.
you struggling with the word embrace?
Embrace is a good word, but
Yeah,
it's like there's a holding. It's embracing, yes, but it's the holding almost has a, I don't know, holding
interesting.
space.
Yeah, and interesting
Right?
because it's almost like, wow, realizing it.
I
It's
know you
like,
feel the spirit here too, right?
yeah, it's like holding something, right? But also being able to let it go
Yes, at
at
the
the
same
same
time.
time, right?
Yeah.
Which is the same thing as that spectrum of good and
Hmm.
evil, right? It's like holding something but letting it go. Yeah,
Yeah.
really, really.
Yeah. So allow yourself to observe. And then if you feel the judgment,
Mhm.
it's okay. Just go, okay, that's happening,
Yep,
right? That's
yep,
okay. That's happening. And how else could I look at this? And that's happening too.
yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, I think
Mm.
it's hard to be so much into these conversations and also try to maintain 3 dimensions, right?
Yeah.
Because again, like, we talk about a concept like time, and the idea of, hey, time doesn't exist, the past, present, and future is all happening at once,
Yeah.
it's all a whole thing, right? And for you and me, I think it resonates, and there's something about it that we feel comfortable with, but there's also something about it that's like, wait, what does that mean? How do I
Yeah.
contemplate that? Because I exist in a time frame, right? Like I'm experiencing that. So
Yeah.
that goes back to the idea of this change that's happening in perception. Is imagine
Yeah.
what, like, how cool is it going to be to be able to perceive that, right, outside of how we can perceive it right now, which seems to be
Oh,
limited.
yeah.
Seems to be limited to, even though I can say it's all happening at once, I still experience it linearly, right? But
Right.
imagine not having to experience it
Yeah.
linearly.
And there are days though where everything feels like so kind of slow and soupy in a way, and then there are days where everything feels so like lit up and energized too.
Mhm,
And it's like giving us a glimpse that even our perception of time isn't quite what we think it is. And I'm thinking of Einstein's spooky action at a distance, and we're all
mhm,
starting to
mhm,
witness this
mhm,
through the synchronicities, but just also in the way things are playing out if we're really paying attention too.
mhm, mhm, mhm,
And I did want to add that one thing that we can be cautious of is that the spiritual principles are there for us to help us understand, and they're there for us to offer us completeness and wholeness in awareness,
mhm,
but aren't necessarily meant for us to like just bypass the human experience and pretend it doesn't matter or that it doesn't exist.
mhm,
Or and so
mhm.
that's why I think we're allowed to say, hey, that could be better, or that's not matching up, or that's not making sense, right? We can
Right.
say, hey, wait a minute there. And, maybe we can balance that out and then look in ourselves as there are times where we're not matching up in alignment to what we
Mhm.
say and what we do, right?
Right,
We can
right,
look at
right.
that too. And there that way we're keeping it, we're really keeping the infinite going too. And
Totally.
I wonder what that changes. Like if we transform, if we take a look inside of us, then maybe we help transform what we see around us too. So because it's
Sure.
also, yeah.
And what I'm thinking, what I'm responding to in that, what I feel like when
Yeah.
you're saying that is,
Yeah.
as human beings, very often we talk about the human experience as these challenges and these lessons and suffering, right? All of these
Hmm.
things that we have to go through.
Hmm.
But then also in the spiritual community, they talk about what a what a prize it is, right, to choose to be a human for a little bit, because it's like an escape from that being all of oneness, right, which is almost like you can imagine there's no contrast in that experience, and to be a human, to experience contrast,
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
interesting, right? Like we're like, oh my god, this is awful, I can't wait to be out of this, and then they're just like, oh, I can't wait to go check it out.
I know, and that's the thing, and because I've been having these conversations, and I worry that people take it wrong because sometimes people will say like I want it to be this way, and I remind us like there are parts of us that love the little dramas that are playing out in our lives too,
Right.
right? They're just having a full get off on it, right? And it doesn't mean anything's gone wrong. It means there's parts that like really wants to have this experience and see what it's like. It might love dark tragic romance. It might love, the experience of not having any money and having to, fend and get on, the high of are we going to make it, and there was one time where I was trying to make the DMV in time before my number got called. So otherwise I would have to start it all over again. And that would be a horrible thing. Right. And I realized I was loving the hustle of trying to get there on
Amazing.
time.
That's great. Yeah, no, that's great, and that's it, right? Sometimes I'm just like, "Why the hell am I asking so many questions? Let me just
Right.
enjoy this donut." You know what I
I
mean?
right? And
Yeah,
so when we have that understanding for those parts, then all of a sudden things might come to change. Like
totally,
because there's a satisfaction that like, okay, like she's got it. We've played this energy out. Now we can move on to something else kind of things
totally.
too. And so that's why I'm trying to say, like, you're not doing anything wrong. It's just it's just kind of understanding
I love it. I love it. And again, that's kind of, why I show up here every week, you know what I mean? Because I know that I know that it's always gonna be magic, you know what I mean? There's always gonna be something that
Mm.
I get, I'm gonna go away from it, and I'm gonna be like, "I'm glad I did that." It looks
Oh,
like
for sure.
Angelo is in question mode. So Angelo,
I
and one of
see that.
Angelo's things is he's always looking for answers. But this one is a good one, and this is kind of specific,
What
to you.
does 5D mean to Jennifer?
Yeah.
Magic.
What does
Just like
5D mean
Michael
to you?
said, it means magic. So, well, let's stop and look at that. Like, are we ready to lose our perception of physical reality as it is now? Are we ready to like see through walls? Are we ready to go into a telepathic state where we can, you can't hide anything anymore? Everything is just out in the open and we can just see everybody's insecurities and all of that too. Like,
Mhm.
are we ready to fully embrace the light and magnificence that we really are? Are we ready to step into an unknown space that we have no idea what's across that threshold when we walk into that light? No idea.
Right.
Are are we ready to lose
Again,
our perception of self?
that same dichotomy, right, of the spectrum. It's super
Yeah,
scary and it's super exciting at the same time,
right?
right? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree, and I think so, like, just in response to what you just said specifically about, are we ready for telepathy, right? And to know each other's insecurities and stuff. I think that that is almost like, if you think about it, having that and seeing all of that stuff, all of a sudden, that stuff is all equal on equal playing
They might
field.
go
It
away.
goes away, right? Because
There
it's
might
like,
not
well,
be any more
we all
insecurities
know
in
we yeah,
5D.
exactly. We
Nothing
all
to hide,
know,
nothing to
so
hide,
it
nothing to
doesn't
hide. It's
matter.
all there. Yeah. Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. So then there might be the end of insecurities, right? Too. And so then we're going to lose parts of personality or the
Right.
way we see personality. Now, there has been times where I've been in a, very high frequency meditative state where my consciousness was so connected into the oneness that I literally would not mind losing my sense of self or my identification with self at all. I mean, I've been to that place. It is that, seductive and intoxicating in energy to be in, right?
Mhm.
And then there was this little thought that feels a little guilty because, oh no, like I couldn't do that to my family. I couldn't do that, that kind of thing. A little feeling of guilty of like, I could just lose myself in this, right? And you just don't, that's some crazy things thinking.
So yeah.
But it is kind of like that, right? And then we're thinking about all these other higher dimensions too, and that's where there's no in, there's no out, there's no, it's beyond, 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 right? It's like now we're like it's way beyond 5 dimension. You can't get in, you can't get out. Like, what are you? It are you not it? Like it's all full, folding in on itself and
No, I love
doing
it,
crazy
Jennifer.
things.
I
Up is
love it.
down and down is up and diagonal
I
is
got you all
sideways.
worked up. I'm excited. This
I
is
know,
great.
right? Angelo loves he loves like planting little seeds.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, we've been going for over an hour. I want to wrap it up soon, but I do want to
Yeah,
address this one because I think there's a couple of different sides to this one,
yeah,
and I do want to talk about it. Do you think that we're
yeah.
trapped in reincarnation, or do we choose it?
Are we trapped in reincarnation or do we choose? Let me get a drink of.
So
Okay.
I mean, I know I want to ask you the question, but I just want to also interpret what that means to me, right? Because I feel like
Yeah.
there are different perspectives, right? And I think all of the perspectives are right. They're just different. There are different
Exactly.
perspectives on that soul journey thing. And when I say that, I'm thinking about there are beliefs that, there are the alien ships that surround the earth that are the
Mm,
old school Anunnaki, and we're slaves. And so there, as our souls are being collected and then put back down to earth because they're trying to harness our energy. There's that belief. And then there's also
hmm
a little bit of a lighter belief of a soul going through a journey of ascension, and then coming back to learn more lessons, and it's not as it doesn't have that same vibration to it, um, and for me
Yeah.
it's like, why can't they both be? You know what I mean? Like, why can't
They
both
they
go,
can both can be true.
you know?
Yeah, both can be true because
Mm,
I've been able to kind of witness both perspectives and see it. And there's one part of me is very concerned with suffering, very concerned with the depth of it, the breadth of it, the massive amount of it too. And it's like from that perspective, we really do need to awaken and do much better and do much better. We've got work to do, and it's like light workers. It's like show up for yourself, get yourself together and fully functional and get to work, right? And but on another hand, from a mediumistic perspective, people ask me the reincarnation question all the time: is my grandpa going to get recycled and you won't be able to connect with him again? And I say no. I say we, as spirit shows me, is this like this chain link, and your Michael Zinness is one of those links, and you're connected to all the other links. Those are all lifetimes, right? And they're all you, but your little link is yours, and that continues being you regardless of being on this earth plane or beyond it, right? Too, so you get to keep you. And so therefore your link isn't going to get recycled. You just make more links. The soul is limitless. It can, we can. That's why we can have lifetimes happening at the same time.
Right.
Not in the same timeline. Even there's somebody else is having a parallel lifetime as you, right? I think of twin souls, twin flames, things like that too, right? But your unique little link of you gets to continue on being you and doing fun things, however that's going to look, right?
Totally.
So then I would say, no, you're not trapped. And I have friends that are like, I am not coming back here. No way, no how. I do not want to come back to planet Earth. It's just been too hard on them too. And I'm just like, you're not going to have to. You get to stay you. The uniqueness that is you is going to keep moving on. But you will be fully, vastly aware of all of your other lifetimes as being connected to you as well.
Right.
Now take it one step further. We're connected to all lifetimes that ever were and ever was and ever will be. Right. Everybody's connected to Jesus or to Cleopatra or to a bug or to a rock or to any little spark. We're connected to all of it. And so even the worst of the worst is still connected to us. The best of the best, the holiest of the holiest is still connected to us. We are all that too. It boggles the mind. And there's a limit to how much we can perceive it. But
that's exactly what that's exactly what I was talking about before, the limitations of our own cognizance and awareness and understanding, right? But so that being said, just to reflect on what you just said, right? That you're this link and it's part of you. The way I heard that, the way that I interpreted my perception of that is essence, right? I am a certain essence, right? So relating to past lives, like Joan of Arc, there was a bit of my essence in Joan of Arc, right? Whether it came out, whether like somebody looking at Joan of Arc would see it or not, it was in there, right? And in my, again, in responding to what you're saying, it gave my essence the opportunity to experience a lifetime that had other essences to it, right? Like not necessarily this lifetime that Michael Zinn is living, right? My essence is here in Michael Zinn, but that same essence was in that lifetime, experiencing it in a whole different way.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
It's so cool. And the essence you came into this lifetime with, you will leave with too. So you may shed certain parts of personality or programming or those kinds of things that you would say. Those might be shed upon moving into the higher consciousness because there's no longer necessary. But the qualities of you that make you keep that. So if you are born funny, you're going to move into the spirit world still funny, right?
Right.
And so that's what's so cool. And I love connecting with spirit world when they're showing me their personality because they have to be evidential. So we'll recognize them. And then they just turn into this big, magnificent light. Even if they weren't a great person here, they're this magnificent light there.
And that ties back into the whole metaphor of the drop being a part of the ocean, right? The drop has the essence of the whole ocean in it. Right. But it's a drop. It's a singular thing for that moment, And I just want to leave you. I don't know if I discussed this with you with another metaphor I heard that was great. And this is a good kind of metaphor for the idea of time existing all at once. Right.
Yeah.
A vinyl record. So a vinyl record has the whole song on it. But depending on where the needle is on the record is that moment of the song, that essence of that moment is and you could only be experiencing that moment through the needle, but the whole song exists on the record So
Exactly.
again, that
I've
was
used
just
that metaphor before too, because it's like what we take with us when we go to spirit. We take this record and it's our memory of our lifetime. And
yes,
it's all imprinted on
everything.
there. And we can play any part of it we want and get all of the memories and things like that.
Yeah,
And it's like, but then if you start to think about it, like the grooves never end,
right,
because
right.
it's going to keep continuing and continuing and
And
continuing.
and
That's
it's
a
a
really
spiral.
beautiful, magnificent thing. Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
amazing, amazing. Oh my God. Jennifer, I could do this all night long.
Me
So
too.
we just need a campfire. That's all. We just need to be in this physical same spot and be around a campfire. And you
We
know
didn't
what?
even need to do any like, what do you what do you
Amazing.
mushrooms or anything like that. We're
Yeah.
totally there. We don't need any help. Like we're just there.
Exactly,
We're
exactly.
just there.
Totally amazing. Well, I certainly love spending time with you. I love spending time with everybody here, Angelo and Lynn and Jennifer
Thank
and
you, everybody.
Jeff, my new friend Jeff. Uh, uh,
Hey, Jeff.
everybody who's here. Thank you guys so much. I really you can't imagine how much it means to me personally. I'm sure to Jennifer, and just the fact that it means anything to any of you even means more. Like so amazing, amazing, amazing. Um, I know I'm going to be talking to Bernadette soon to get her on my show. Like, I love the fact that people in the audience also can like just come on and we can have an amazing conversation. Um, so thank you for always being you and for showing
Thank you
up.
for having me. That was a
Yeah,
lot of fun. My brain is really happy.
good, good,
So
good. I'm
thank
going to
you.
try to make the hearts show up. Why are they not showing up? Come on, show up. My
Oh,
my my
mine
effects are
doesn't
not
do that.
working. Oh, you know
Yeah.
what? I think I got to
Oh
turn.
wow.
I think my camera effects are turned off for some reason. All right. Well, camera and microphone. No, it's turned off. All right. No worries. I can't make any fireworks for you guys tonight. But come back next time. Maybe we will. That's a reason to come back and check it out next week. So thank you guys always for being here. Jennifer as well. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Much
everybody.
love to everybody. And yeah, man, keep coming back because we're here and it's always a lot of fun.
Yes, we
All
are.
you gotta do is show up.
All you can do is show up, right?
We'll see you guys later. Have a great night.
Bye,
Peace.
everyone. Thank you.
This is the theme song for the live stream of consciousness. You gotta ask yourself whether reality is a dream or you are dream for reality. We're all a part of the answer to the meaning of it all.